Hey there, Timothy Roberts here. In this video, we're going to talk about the floppiest cymbals ever made, and we're going to talk about a cymbal that I made to pair well with this crazy, wacky thing that we're going to talk about now. All right, so a customer sent me this cymbal here. It is a cymbal from the company that no longer exists called Hammerax. If you've ever seen or played a Hammerax, you know they are incredibly unique. They are weird. They are not made of B20. They're made out of a lower tin type of bronze. And they have some wildly floppy cymbals, incredibly thin, but they sound amazing. They had a bunch of really unique designs. They had these gongs. They had all kinds of crazy stuff that really set them apart as a very unique company. And in my mind, they were just a little bit too early. Maybe they were a little bit too ahead of the game because a lot of people didn't get them when they came out. The company was founded in 2006. I don't know when they officially stopped making the cymbals, but they were just a little bit too much on the forefront, trailblazing into wacky cymbal designs. But nowadays, if you can find a Hammerax, they're very expensive, they're very rare, and they're very, very unique. So a customer sent me this cymbal and wanted me to make a sibling for it that he could use so that he could have this in his left position. And it presented a lot of challenges because I'm not working with the same material, but I think I came up with a pretty interesting pairing to it, which I have over here, and let's listen to them now. All right, so this Hammerax originally is, it's like a 22-inch cymbal. It's popped for like 3 holes up here. I believe it's in like the 1,800 gram range or 1,700 gram range. It's wildly thin. And the cymbal that I made is a 22.5 with a hand-formed bell, and it weighs 2,301 grams. So it is very, very thin for a 22.5, but it's not anywhere close to as thin as this thing is. I also, with the design of this cymbal, went very extreme with the taper because this drummer plays with a ton of dynamics, especially very, very soft dynamics, and so he needed the cymbal to activate at the lowest, lightest little glance. He needed it to open up and activate and have a full, lush sound. So that presented a challenge because a lot of times really thin cymbals can just sound kind of splashy, and they don't have much depth to them. They don't have the lows and the mids when you're playing them really lightly. They just kind of have a high-pitched kind of splashy kind of sound. So the way I achieved the sound that I have here is with a very extreme taper. I left a lot of weight up near the bell, and then it has a wild amount of topography to it. So the goal was really to get a lot of dimension to the surface of the cymbal so that it would retain some sense of depth of character, being that it was going to go super, super thin. Any cymbal that's hammered into shape and then lathed a ton to where you kind of lathe through a lot of the hammering and you get it super smooth is going to sound very glassy and very, very washy. So I knew it needed to have a lot of dimension and topography, as I call it, in order to retain some darkness, retain some complexity, and overall be a nice, interesting contrast to this hammer axe, because this hammer axe is very, very splashy. It opens up with the slightest glance. I mean, even grabbing it, I could just kind of like, you know, touch it, and it's over here just kind of, it's called a liquid seed ride, if I didn't say that before. That's the name of this particular model, and it goes to show you can barely touch it, and it's just waving all around. So this cymbal is very glassy, very splashy, very hard to control, and so I wanted to have kind of a complementary, sort of contrasting thing in the main position so that it could be controlled, and you could even dig in and play, you know, with a lot of velocity and still have stick definition cut through. So let's play these cymbals with the mic and the camera out front. You can kind of get a sense for how they sound out front, and then you guys can let me know if you think I did a good job with this project. So as you can tell, it's got more control to it. This cymbal has a tremolo effect because the metal's moving so much that you're kind of hearing the flapping, this wow, 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 kind of like a, yeah, it's a tremolo effect, basically. You're hearing that when you dig in certain ways that you play it can draw that character out more. So last thing I need to talk about before we wrap this video up is just the profile shapes. With this original one, I was going for medium. I was not wanting low because then the contrast would be too wide. You know, for me, when I think of colors and pairing cymbals together, I want contrast, but I don't want it to be a chasm between the two sounds. I want them to be somewhat complementary, but if they're too close, then it's like, why have two cymbals if they're, you know, too similar? So this hammer axe is a taller shape to it. It's got a nice big umbrella curvature, and so it's a taller shape than my original. It's kind of hard to tell in the camera there, but suffice it to say, this is like a medium profile. It's not too low, not too tall. And then obviously I told you it's got the heavy topography. It's got a very large or significant taper to it. Hand-formed bell with a lot of weight still left on the bell. I find that when you leave more weight on the bell in a thin cymbal, it's like this solid grounding to the center of the cymbal to kind of help reel things in. A hand-formed bell is already going to be a little bit drier in general than a pressed bell, but then when you also leave extra weight and then you just taper the rest of the cymbal like crazy, you're kind of holding everything in place so that it doesn't get too wild and out of hand. So I would love to know what you guys think about this pairing. Do you think I did a good job setting up complementary sounds? And this cymbal is going to get finalized, etched, and sent off to the customer. And let me know too if you have a hammer axe, because they're super rare if you've ever experienced them. If not, look them up. You can see there's a couple hammer axe listings on Reverb right now where you can kind of see some of the different things that they made. Look them up on YouTube and you can see, and let me know what you think about them. Do you think that they were, you know, ahead of their time? Because I think a lot of companies are popping up now that are doing weird stuff. My company included, and it's kind of the right time in the industry for these weird alternate effects types of sounds. So yeah, drop a comment below. Hit the like and the subscribe and the bell if you want notifications. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Timothy Roberts. We'll see you guys next time.